Welcome to my lovely HP community and the 5D Collective and all of the brave, loving, and living human beings out there. So, the 5D Collective are a bunch of healthy others. So, we have self-soothing, self-regulation, all of that in the way of good therapy and or good mindfulness living. So, you do know the depths of you, and that's why we don't want to spend life or hang out too much with the fearful, insecure, who shame and are facades. Okay, so let's address that for a minute. We talked about stupidity yesterday and the day before. And I did get to address the disowned self and people who are in fancy suits. So they don't know the depths of them, which is why they give people an excuse to follow them. One of the most recent, in addition to them thinking that they can tell the smart human beings that modern therapy and healing is trying to keep you trapped. Yeah, okay, so they only have words that fall on the ears of the cowards. Cowards are the people who don't want to go to good therapy. And that's as simple as it gets. The danger of showing no emotion, another stupid ass sentence. Non-reactivity is not necessarily an indication of health or enlightenment. Yes, so anyone who doesn't want to learn how to be emotionally, mentally, and physically intelligent, please leave. Because here we tap into higher human consciousness, not the lower stuff. Lower stuff, to me, is really sad. And this woman, as well as the man, is a sad story. They are the people who get defended, as Denzel Washington points out, not because they're right, no, because people like them. Because the people that like them are the same ones who don't want to go to get therapy. So we have a clear group, divisive. The real healthy self-worth people, the pretend ones, and the fallen angel called Lucifer is being used consistently left and right, as well as God. What you'll notice though is that those who are true to the 5D frequency, we know of Jesus and compassion. So we know of God and love. And so we know that anybody who wants to shame another has unfortunately been shamed theirself and wants to perpetuate human suffering and not move into the high mental, emotional, and physical intelligence of their open heart and open mind. Okay, so the groups are human suffering love over there and human love over here, and really the frequencies coexist because they give each other, the groups, free will choice. So that's why we don't need to do anything, and the embodiment of emotionally, mentally, and physically intelligent human beings know that, which is why we don't defend what is right and we don't defend who we like. We know how to do what Sadhguru points out, this. Not only are we aware of our mortality, but we know how to live it with maximum zest, our life. And so we know that our lovely life, this life within us, is not disowned because we have owned it and or we're owning it from a good therapist, okay? And so our lovely body, mind, emotion, it serves the life that we are. And with that, you get to be your true self and you get to not live relationships with any of those rejection, abandonment, injustice, betrayal, humiliation, shame, wounds. Okay, so fancy lady and fancy man, we're going to keep making fun of them, but we're going to understand that they are on the shame, fallen angel, evil scale of Michael Stone, which is why it's not about Lucifer, but Lucifer with integrity, he would be ashamed of having only cowards on his team because a scaredy cat, not something impressive. So if Lucifer had integrity, since we know of the fallen angel story as one that does not hold integrity, then we can know that his little smirk is about having fearful children follow him around and, let's see, the shame fucking business, shame drugging, shame drinking, the manipulating of words the way they're doing to try and get people to not go to therapy. So yeah, pretty much tricking. Don't go get your dissociative identity disorder healed and your disorganized attachment. Don't go get your narcissism healed. So that's why the team players on the human suffering, they say, you can't get healed. There's no way you're going to heal a narcissist. There's personality expert, disorder personality expert, Dr. Daniel Fox. Yes, they are healable. And so again, the two coins, people are pieces of shit that we want to shame, and they're all cowards. And so we leave it alone. We know that love always wins. Also, smarts wins. Yes, because we have the adolescent essence. You see, the ego is blind. And they're blind for a reason. The people who want to stay blind are blind for a reason, and we leave it to them to stay within their perimeters, like I said, and keep saying we get to heal trauma with the new story. So we are all mindfully living here at IHP. If you love to love, come on over. If you don't want to love, then you don't want to be here. And we don't appeal to any of those who are idiots. We appeal to those who want to have their body, their brain, and their whole system function with joy, exuberance, and ecstasy. So you want to be yourself the emotionally, mentally, and physically grown-up way, and to spend your life with I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, the dream in your eyes, or the gleam in your eyes is so familiar, a gleam. So let's get to that, shall we, for a little bit? Okay, so one, we spend life again with the ones who are brave, not the ones who are ashamed of their self and continue and don't go to heal their self. It's a very sad story. Again, I know Robert Sapolsky thinks he's proven that there's no free will, but there is, because there's people who are being on two sides of a coin. And as long as we have two sides of a coin, that is the free will. Obviously, how much information is able to get to these people. But again, the people who follow the fancy suits, they yell at people like me, how dare you talk about human kindness and goodness? It's like when the guy goes up to the Dalai Lama and says, how dare you smile in the face of all this suffering? So anybody who has humbug, we don't want to be around. The childhood trauma survivor who doesn't want to go get healed. And if we have to, we're going to say, like the Dalai Lama says, well, it's not about responsibility, but I guess we can say that I have a responsibility because I'm on the other side of the coin. Don't you know I'm a mystic? I'm a divine feminine. I know all about nurturing. In fact, I don't get misplaced at all. I don't capture anyone. Love is really easy because it's people who have fun together. And that's because we know that we get to contribute who we are to each other. So people who choose love, they choose to be their self. They speak truth. They are self-mastered. They love to be empowered with non-reactivity. Is the most amazing. Enlightenment, soul age group, you'll know when you're in the restorative embodiment of you, because once you're there is when you get into that enlightenment, soul age group. Integration of the brain, amazing as well. The people who have cold as ice, they don't know the depths of their emotions because they didn't heal and they're afraid. That's why they're cowards. The cowardice, they make fun of people who go heal with Patrick Tiahan. They're Diego's family. We don't want to be a part of their family. They don't have each other's best interest. They have low self-esteem and direct communication, passive-aggressive. They don't know healthy boundaries is a conversation, which is why they're also cowards. They don't know how to talk to you in your face. They know how to do the silent treatment. Oh, yeah, they know how to deflect. They know how to do all that fun stuff, which is why it's not ghosting. It's not impressive. You don't impress me with passive-aggressive. It's not even aggressive. So that's why the empowered woman here, I'm non-reactive, and whenever I get really passionate, I recalibrate. In fact, I'm in the physical mastery of myself, and I'm an Akashic record reader. That's why I know about the quantum plane, and I know about sciences and spirituality, and they come together for smart people. The idiots are not who I'm appealing to at all. In fact, I don't want to be around them because, yes, I have a good time, but that's only because I'm a feminine. So again, I nurture. And I don't want to be around limited consciousness, though, and that's what any of those masculines are when they don't go and get their own feminine online. So here's where our lovely rabbi, when he says about there are 39 ways in the Torah for the masculine to basically become, but there's only one feminine. And the one element feminine. So he's explaining in his class something. But then he also goes on to say how the masculine has a hard time to commit. While the woman, then he's trying not to do gender stereotypes, but he is. But the feminine is a nurture of all. So the true embodiment of a divine feminine will always nurture anything you shit on, send my way. I'll know how to nurture it. That's why I can have a good time even with the biggest idiot of all. And I'm not kidding right now because I know humble. I also know that I'm a 3-year-old like you are. And difference, though, is that mine doesn't feel like this. Mine doesn't feel like that at all. Where is mine? Mine feels like this. Mine feels like this. And then I know how to do this. Which is why when somebody turns around to me and says, am I not decent enough to be saluted? I'm not thinking, what a rude asshole. How dare he? I'm not a reactive teenager. No, and even as a teenager, I wasn't that at all. I, again, am a divine feminine, not a pretend one. And so I'm going to use this. Okay, so people that are this, they don't know how to do this. They also don't know what this means. So you might be new. Let me share with you a story. My BFFFFF of all times as a teenager. I'm just going to get to the gist of it. So she ends up cheating. My boyfriend and her, they end up having a thing. She has a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. Okay, we're BFFFs. She kisses my boyfriend, which in my book, ridiculous, not a big deal. But this was the third time. So three's a charm. At this point, I tell my boyfriend, I say, okay, what do you want to do? We're getting older. Just decide. I mean, it's not really hard. You want to stay together or not? But this is where that specific cheating incident came to me. I got my first tarot card reading, and I didn't think it was her when I got the first. Then I forget what happened, but I figured it out. I said it wasn't the other one, it was her. So I had to basically ask my boyfriend 3 times. I remember. By the third time, I said, stop lying to me, because he was like a little coward. Little cowards are very straightforward to see, the little shame thing. I said, just tell me I know, just fess out and let's get it over with and just decide what you want to do, because I'm tired of this. It's bullshit. Okay, so I said I'm going off to college soon. I want to move forward. Just, so once he tells me, I'm infuriated because she's my best friend. She knows everything and how I follow Jesus. So I'm pissed beyond a shadow of a doubt. I say, you're going to wait. I don't want to see her right now, and I don't want to say anything that I will then not be able to unsay, and I'm just going to wait. I'm angry. I'm going to wait till I'm calm. That's when you can talk at your best. That's mindfully living, people. It's as straightforward as that. And it's the right way to do things, because it's right to be empowered. Or actually, you know what? You don't even have to use right or wrong, because see, it's a teenager chit chat. You get to choose. I like to be empowered, because empowered is where I'm empowered to be myself at the best version of myself. It's called self-regulation. So as a grown-up with attachment trauma information, I can share it with you. But as a teenager, I can already tell you, I'm not going to go being all upset. And whenever it has happened, twice, where I've been reactive, not my best moments. In fact, luckily for me, I had people that were calmer, and I got to allow myself to have my moment and be like, shit, you lost it. Not cool, Maria, not cool. I knew why, and it was okay, and that's how we work. It's not because of, let me beat myself up about it. No, I appreciated the smart people who were able to handle me. I said, I'm so sorry for losing it. And that's because it's not necessary. It's not pretty. Anger is about correction. The thing already happened. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's you not mastering yourself. It's unimpressive. Cowards are unimpressive. Reactivity is unimpressive. Now, the people who don't have their therapist, they don't know that they can get healed. And that's where, again, so today in the lovely era of 2024, I'm happy the teenagers have good therapists who can inform them of how to begin doing something that I organically did on my own. So I waited 7 days. I said, I'm not going anywhere until I want to see her and I want to talk to her. That's when I'll be at my best. And I waited, and when I went, I said, as I did with all the other incidences, because I had other friends who lied to me about these cheating things. So all I realized by this third time is that people are afraid. I'm not impressed, again, by any of it. There's no Lucifer. There's no monster. If I have to use the name, I will, just because I can, again, as a mystic and just playing with words, that's all this is. It's not set in stone. The reality is, anybody who is going to keep coming here, if you take words like set in stone, you don't understand what I'm presenting to you. When you are your whole self, that's why we don't feel changed, is we're consistently expanding. All our child parts are whole. We never have had, I haven't in this lifetime had disruption, and I haven't had it in past lifetimes either. That's because I know my embodiment. This is as a mystic, not as Maria. As Maria, I can tell you that this lifetime, I have a differentiated 3-year-old heart. I told the story. I got it told to me. I can tell you how I know how to regulate. I can tell you about explicit and implicit memory. I can tell you how I handle my panic attacks. I don't have to, but I can. So, in fact, we can thank my panic attacks for me having practice and self-regulation. As for my oversoul, yeah, there's no tragedy with twin flame or flames. It's a divine feminine you have in front of you, not this. So there's a difference. When you see them, you go follow the twin flame journey. I'm talking to you with this and this. Oh, and this. Oh, and I don't need healing. And I know what a venomous snake is like, and it ain't impressive again. So, again, not impressed. by the fancy man in a suit. When he gets on screen and lets us know why a man won't text me back, I feel bad for the man and I feel bad for him. And I think, wow, you didn't take yourself to therapy. I see that very clearly because you're completely on screen doing nothing effective except for playing to the crowd that wants to shame people the same way you're doing, because that's how they got shamed. So apparently you just all want to keep shaming each other. Not impressive. You're cowards because you don't go and get your therapy with a good Patrick Tiahan, because of course you don't want to get out of dysregulation. It's the highlight. I've had a man inform me of that being his highlight. As I told him, you do realize that's not the highlight, right? I'm like, no, yes it is. I'm like, no, but it's the only energy you know. So I understand that that's all you know. If ever you want to get out of it, I said, let me know. I'll help you. And a good therapist will help you. I'll help you next to the good therapist. And my friend doesn't want to go. He thinks it's a highlight to have little vindictive small energy. In the meantime, I get to watch as they wither away, because as you don't get healed, your poor inner child wither away. Your dysregulation withers away at your body. Your body doesn't get healthy. It's stressed out. There's unresolved stuff. It's not fun to see, but again, people do have free will, because in this era we have good therapists, but they will deflect it. It's textbook insecure attachment, deciding that I don't deserve love. I feel empowered when I'm in my dysregulated embodiment, and so they live out their insecure first 8 years of life. The 3 count. The ones who don't want to believe it. I fought it all to believe. Those are idiots. And so again, unimpressive when I speak to idiots, because I'm impressed when I meet smart people. They are smart, and I'm sure those who keep staying will be smart as well. Not because we are smarter than others, no, because we have a brain that thinks and knows. Information is bountiful, and it has been proven that every person can choose to be their self and have healthy self-worth. So with my girlfriend, when I go to say, so what's up? Basically she says fear. I wasn't surprised. And then it was funny though, because for me it was fine. It was a done deal. We talked about it. I said, I would not have done anything different than what I'm doing right now. We're still friends. I love you the same. I don't agree with what was happening. This is what a healthy other does. We don't do characterological distinctions or judgments. It's called I don't cast a stone. And I learned that I was casting a stone as a teenager, and I stopped, because I do follow what I was taught in catechism, which is why I know I follow the truth. The ones who want to shame people, they follow their distorted self, which was shamed, and their 1-year-old and 2-year-old and 3-year-old wants to keep shaming others, because that 16-year-old is spiting the caregivers that didn't give them what they wanted, and they're spiting their self for having stayed home, because they're disregarding that you can't leave your home with those first 8 years of life. And your 3-year-old, but they don't want to hear about the shame, defectiveness, because they don't want a relationship with their self. They are denying. In fact, they'll say, love yourself. How dare they talk about loving yourself? How dare they talk about being yourself? You don't need to be yourself. You need to change yourself. So there's all these, again, playing with words, but the ones of us who are trying to help people who want to live a healthy life, and in this case, you get to add to that healthy life, it's, for me, the recent attachment and trauma past 2-3 years give me the capacity to share with you more, but the mystic in me already knew, again, what I still know now, which is when we're upset, there is no need to speak because you want to calm down. But if you're a coward, you don't talk at all. If you're brave, you know how to face people. My BFFF is not the only one I faced. And here, I'll put the other end of the coin. I was the bad guy of a situation in a very specific way. And when I got presented, hey, so I heard it through the grapevine, that you would know, not be mine. So they come to me, I heard through the grapevine that you said XYZ, the EFG, HIJ, KL, and P. I don't lie. That's what a brave person knows how to do. That's because I don't have shame, but I also have accountability. And so I said, yeah, I don't have an excuse. Yes. And people who are empowered, this is where there's a relationship that continues. People who are they're the casters, the judgers, all of it, and they're the hypocrites. And I'm not really, again, a fan of being around anybody who's a coward anyway, so I don't mind that the ones who self-select out of my life because they're not taking themselves seriously, I have nothing to say. But when I've met true, brave human beings, we always end with It's nice to be friends. Cool. That's it. So, healthy self-worth people, we hang out. Brave people hang out. The fearful ones, depends. If they want to become brave, they'll hang out. If they don't want to become brave, well, we have facades in our group. Sid, Manny, Diego, you all know about that one. So, in the meantime, though, the collective here, we like to hang out with people who know how to be their self, speak truth, and they have self-mastery. That means that you do want to be able and have integrity and to move out completely of living fearfully. So being able to dress people that, like my teenage friend, with respect. So again, for me, it was concluded, but the boyfriend of my teenage girlfriend wasn't happy with what happened. So for him, there was an uneven scale, and he decided what we would do so that that scale could be evened, because we were couples who would go out together. So that was my friend and I were the two mature ones in the couple. And when we basically went off to, square out this debt that he chose, we just laughed in each other's faces. And I'm like, are they stupid or what? What the fuck? They put us in this situation. This is ridiculous. And we just chit-chatted the entire evening. But it was funny. So they ended up getting married, and I ended up being freed. And I will never forget, after the first month, I was like, thank goodness, because he went ahead to cheat on me again. But this time it was in a whole different way. Fun story. I won't share that one. But I remember I was just so happy. And when people are like, you let him get away, I was like, he's not my dog. And also, if he's that easily taken away, not impressive. I don't need a person who, the minute that somebody snaps their fingers, you're out. Yeah. So, by the way, people who don't own themselves, that's why. They're not reliable. And I will always notice, I'm a divine feminine, not a divine masculine. And I'm not a divine feminine that has the pretend divine feminine. So when you have divine masculines, they're only impressive when they have their own divine feminine, because it's when they can do this and they're healed, not that they don't have healing. No. And so twin flames, soulmates, divine feminine doesn't have a sad story. They have a story and more. Good stories, because we expand. We expand because we love. True love is consistent. And so we grow more relationships. We don't cut people out of our herd unless they want out. And if they want out, they'll let us know. Or if they want us out, that's good. Okay, we'll let ourselves out. We'll say thank you. Intimacy is what we will have built. So vulnerability, deep conversations. We share our feelings for real, not pretend. That's true love. So all my relationships, they grow. Doesn't mean that we share the same things. As we get older, we all have differences. But the facades will stay facades if they don't go and get their true self on board. The ones who are their true self, we have a good time, because we love to feel, and we love to think, and we love to love. And so we'll be back with more. In the meantime, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, and allow yourself to make fun of the facades with here, come. The fancy man and woman in suits. We're going to keep making fun of them. And in the meantime, we're also going to understand, on a serious note, that some people, I don't like to think of it that way, but yeah, I'm going to leave it alone, actually. Free will. Every day is a new day. So in the meantime, science is giving people the opportunity to welcome their true self home, to heal rejection, abandonment, injustice, betrayal, humiliation, shame in their own timing, of course. And when they don't want to do it, they have the fancy man and woman in suits, and anybody who's still allowing the shame, vibration, and frequency to be here. And so, again, we are the enlightenment frequency and the love frequency, and we love to be above the neutrality frequency, so we like to be equanimous. And that means impartiality, neutrality, and duality, and that means restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating. So this is what mindfulness and spirituality, living and loving, brings about. Our whole self, the ownership, our sense of self, and therefore your divine feminine, open heart, your divine masculine, open mind, and masculine feminine, integrated brain. You want more thoughts, more depth, more emotions, the inner growth mindset, dealing with unknowns, uncertainties, unexpecteds from within you, an open heart while going with the flow. These are all very attractive to the person who loves to love. And who knows, healthy boundaries is a conversation, not somebody going silent on you, not somebody hiding away. Those are people who don't know self-worth. They don't see clearly. They're not wise. They're not playful. And they don't share intimacy. They share pretends. Pretends are like my facade friend. Doesn't mean that they don't love, but again, they're living with this. So their pretend is one of those wounds, and then they just continue that life. So they're still part of our life. It's just in a very different way since they're not self-mastered and not deep. We'll continue in our next conversation. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by.